right over.
I got a Surly Axeman IPA to introduce this new movie that we watched today, Alex Garland's Warfare. So Aiden, what's the plot of Alex Garland's Warfare?
There isn't one.
There's kind of a plot.
It's just like a situation.
There's a group of military guys in a house, and then they get attacked and they try to leave.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the plot.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. There's a bunch of gunfights. There's a bunch of Israelis.
It was a real pointless thing that happened in real life. So Grant, what'd you think of Warfare?
It was amazing. Actually, legitimately, probably my favorite movie of the year already. Saying that, I've only seen like 3 movies this year, but, you know, top 3.
Top 3, baby.
Top 3, baby.
Top 5, top 10.
I really liked his last movie, what was it called, Civil War?
Civil War?
Because it wasn't like taking sides. It wasn't another Orange Man bad film. It was just like, this is what happens when 2 journalists want to try and interview a guy who's being hunted by a nation. And there's skirmishes and shit happening and gunfights all around. No one's really a bad guy.
Yeah, but if you look at the 1-star letterbox reviews, everyone's convinced that Civil War was either Trump propaganda or Hillary propaganda.
Personally, yeah. I mean, it didn't really feel like it
Everybody read into it as negative.
Well,
and those feelings are carried over to Letterboxd for this movie.
They sure are.
They sure have.
The thing is, I mean, it's just presenting a situation where things are confusing and shit's fucked and people are getting hurt and that's it. It's just 2 armies skirmishing. Well, an army and an insurgency. So, in that view, it really was just chaotic. You never really see people shooting directly at each other until toward the end when 2 guys get on the roof. And so, you never really know where they're coming from or if they're close or if they've left. It's really good at building tension.
And even then, you don't really... It's not like... it's not a war movie in the vein of like Rambo, where Rambo's jumping around killing Russians or whatever with a ginormous machine gun. It's like... it's very procedural. They're shooting at each other for a goal. Like, the other guy doesn't want to die, neither do I, so I'm going to crouch here and blast at him to try to get cover fire. And there's very few resolutions. I think one of the 2 actual... There's like 3 people who actually die that you see in the movie, and one of them is like drone footage, and another one is kind of the aftermath during a bombing. Like,
yep.
It's very much a movie about kind of pushing the anxiety of being trapped as a enemy surrounds you.
Oh yeah. And I really like the build up to all the gunfighting, where it's just 20-30 minutes of the guys talking, clearing a building, just chilling,
being bored,
and then shit hits the fan, and it's so realistic. Like, there's a siren that goes off where a guy's like, jihad, you know, etc. He says jihad, you know, etc.
Something like that.
And then he's like, oh, he's calling it jihad to kill us. He's like, okay. And then it just slowly starts. You hear gunshots, and it's great.
Yeah, it kind of crescendos, and you think like this is based on a real event, so it's kind of a recollection of what happened as far as the people involved remember. So it doesn't have like dramatic cues, like guy goes by window, suddenly his head is blown off, and then people get in a big dramatic gunfight where 1,000 Taliban members and 3 U.S. soldiers die and some grand conflict. It's like...
Doesn't have any music either.
A grenade goes off and people hurt their leg, and then a bomb goes off. It's like, it's very much like a procedural film.
It was, the first grenade going off, all that tension, then it explodes, and then not a single like shot is fired for like a solid 5-10 minutes where they're like, what the fuck just happened, where are they? They see shadows in the window and he does suppressing fire, but then it's like nothing for 10-20 minutes. You don't see any more fighting.
Yeah, you'll occasionally hear like a thump as people shoot the building, but it all becomes kind of really loud background noise as the movie tries to immerse you into what it's trying to show you, which is that war ain't fun. There isn't much of an opinion on whether or not the war is good or bad or
lots of
moral. There's no
screaming.
moral deviation on either side. It's just guys get stuck in a window or guys get stuck in a house because they were going to camp out there to do recon for some Marines, and then they got stuck there because the Taliban people wanted to kill them since they saw them as an easy target. That's the goal of the movie.
Yeah.
Escape, exfil, get in the tank and leave. And the whole movie is just based around that, and it's tense. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah.
I like when the Marine fucks up applying morphine. He's like, I jabbed my thumb.
Yeah.
There's a lot of realistic shit. A lot of the one guy by the stairs who literally is just staring into space, and then someone's like, what the fuck's up with him? And then everyone, the guy looks up and he's just standing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even fucked up eyebrows guy, Will Forte.
Will Porter.
Will Porter is like, you think like in a conventional movie, dude's like the commander and he's gonna be the one that pulls everyone through it. And like halfway through the movie, he's like, actually, dude, I'm freaking out. I can't do this anymore. So then some other guy just takes over as the commander, and Will Porter kind of just stands there until the end of the movie.
And they do amazing as a team up until like people get hurt, and then everyone just starts freaking out.
Yep.
And it's real human moments in there of just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. The guy unplugging his radio because he can't stand everyone shouting comms in his ear.
Yeah, I mean, even Will Porter's character right before he kind of leaves command, he's like, they're like trying to talk to him. They're like, "What house are you at?" And it just escapes him, and he's like at the one that's getting blown the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the endless screaming.
Yeah. Oh, well, all the times it cuts to like underwater sound effect filter where it's like can't hear shit, just thuds and pumps. And then it hard cuts to loud fucking sounds in your ears, like when he drags the guy in the building. Yeah, it's great. Great.
Yeah, the sound design is incredible.
And all the fucking cinematography, it looks wonderful. It's a fucking amazing looking film.
It's a very different film, but from a sound design perspective of trying to make war really overwhelming and realizing a good way to do that is to lean in this sound design was 1917 from I think 2019, the end of the year.
Yeah.
That movie, very different movie. Similar style of just like
That
war
movie
kind of
is
sucks.
Much more conventional.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
especially like the last like 10 minutes. The last like 10, 20 minutes, but the first half is just like, oh, my friend got stabbed, so I guess that sucks, and then his friend slowly dies.
Yeah.
There's some parts, it's after that first cut that it becomes a lot more fanatical, that film, but regardless, this movie is supposed to be like a simulation. This isn't like a particularly special moment or battle, like there's probably 1,000 of these things that happened. If anything, the fact that there were minimal casualties despite the odds might kind of be part of the reason it was picked as an interesting battle, but I mean,
Also,
as
one of
far
the
as
guys
it goes,
involved co-wrote Civil War with Alex Garland.
yeah,
Co-directed this movie, so
yeah, and he got a bunch of seemed like a handful of people who were actually there, kind of to some level,
and a lot of what looks to be genuine military tactics of clearing rooms and calling out shit.
yeah, the whole movie is just military lingo, unexplained. The movie does not give a shit if you do not understand.
And it's
You'll
great.
figure it out.
It's so good. Love it.
Yeah, there's almost like a Roger Corman-esque like production style where it kind of felt like Alex Garland, while he was working with this co-writer from Civil War and heard this story, was like, well, we should make this into a movie too, and then they whip something together because it's a lot less grandiose than Civil War. It's more of a bottle episode, so to speak, to use like TV terms. They're just in one fucking place the entire time. There's like minor shots of like around the area here and there when it follows that second squad, or whatever the military term is, the second part of their team, it briefly cuts around to where they're like within adjoining neighborhoods, but it's really small scale. It's not like Civil War, which was literally like cross country, huge sets, blah blah blah. It's very, very much like something they must have just kicked around and decided to make quickly after their first team up with Civil War.
Yeah. I really like a lot of the comedic moments are just dudes shooting the shit, and it's the most realist shit ever. Like when the guy drinks the water and then spits it back and hands him the water.
Yeah, there's something very humanizing about it. It also tries to kind of go through the procedure beyond what you normally see in Hollywood. Like, the first 30 minutes is just dudes writing shit we as the audience, unless we're actually in the military, don't understand on notepads and saying lingo that we as the audience probably don't understand.
Yeah, and they all look bored and fucking miserable.
Yeah. They're not happy to be there. But they're mostly just hanging out. They're like co-workers. They're very relatable.
Yeah.
You know, in a more normal profession. And then all of a sudden shit goes down and some people are able to really cope with it. Most of them are pretty much like, this is fucked, and yeah. So I guess me and Grant merged our thought part kind of. So Aiden, what did you think of Warfare?
It's great. It's not much of a narrative movie or a character movie. You never really learn anything about anyone. And there's not really, I mean, it's just a collection of pointless events. It really is just a movie about one of the most pointless things that happened in a pointless war, where a bunch of people got permanently fucked up or killed for no reason over holding a shitty house. Fantastic sound design, love the lack of music, very immersive and realistic and tense. And to follow up on what I talked about in the Civil War review way back, the Letterboxd reviews are crazed. The top one is, someone said, Jarvis, my karma is low. Write me a 2,700 word essay about how war is bad and this movie's propaganda. I don't even know if that person watched the movie. This is not a glamorous movie.
I think
or a
it's,
heroic movie.
You know, to spoil part of our conversation of our next video, I think it's a little bit of people go in with a predisposition, a preconceived
Yeah, they made up
resolution to what
They
they
said
want.
this is a movie
to
about
be.
the Iraq War, so it must be Bush-era propaganda. And really, the military look like the biggest fucking dumbasses ever.
I feel like people born in 2007 love the phrase Bush era propaganda. Like, there was a lot of Bush era propaganda, sure, but like, then they don't really understand it that well. And they don't understand that this movie isn't really critical. Much like Civil War, this movie's fairly apolitical. We don't really know if Alex Garland's like, you know, if only these guys ran out and like killed the fucking each and every Taliban and their families. Like, that isn't really the vibe of the movie. The movie's not really about killing anybody. It's just
It's
like,
not
isn't it
heroic
fucked up
or
that my friends
glamorous.
got all their
It's-
legs blown off by an
It's,
IED.
it's not heroic or glamorous. It's just like an awful thing that happens to a few people, that happens to a lot of people, and it's fucked up and pointless, and it sucked for everyone, and there was lots of screaming and blood, and no one was happy, and everyone went home, mostly except for the people who died.
I think if anything, it's kind of a look of why war actually sucks, because it's fucking boring and then your legs get blown off. That's what this movie has to say about war. So if anything, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
not saying war is
It's
good
not
or
very
bad.
good
Not saying it
propaganda if it
depends.
was meant to be propaganda.
If it was meant to be, because I watched this and I was like, you know, I've never had any inkling to go to war. But if I did, you know, I don't think watching people get their legs blown off and screaming after sitting there in a boring ass house for hours is particularly what makes me go hoorah, you know.
Yeah.
Like calling Call of Duty war propaganda.
The military
is.
guys in this movie.
Transformers, sure.
The military guys in this movie immediately give away their position, get horribly injured, and get one of their allied Iraqi manservants killed. Sit around hiding and crying and screaming, covered in everyone's blood, and they run away. And the movie even just ends with silence, and it's just like, oh. It was all pointless.
I did like reading all the letterbox. That's like, what if you just like didn't kill off the Iraqi guy and then like they like had more of a role in the movie? It's like, well, that's not what happens.
It's not
the problem. The problem is you're going off of recounts of factual events. If the guy walked outside and got his ass blown to pieces,
that doesn't stop people anymore. The BBC makes a documentary like every fucking year about how George Washington was secretly black.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
He was. They said so.
Maybe, maybe he's like 1/16.
Yeah.
He was like, doing stuff he shouldn't have said, and then
He had the chain.
No, I don't think so, but I'm saying maybe he was like 1/16 African American. He would like tell people that. He'd be like, my great-great-grandfather comes from Africa, so I got all sorts of, I got access to certain vocabulary you don't, and everyone's like, okay, George, like, I think you just are weird, dude.
I like the real-time element, too. I think that's very interesting.
Oh, the 3 minutes were out, or... 5 minutes.
It's all real. It's all real time. It's all just the real, like 90-ish minutes that they were in that situation, and then at the end, it's just over, and it was all just pointless, and nothing was accomplished, and basically, people who think this is propaganda are really fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really fucking stupid.
It's probably the most like objective human look at this situation the director could have done.
I do think the hardest thing you can do though when you're criticizing a movie is change your preconceived notions. Because I went into Minecraft hoping for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumaniacs here, and I would have loved to even get a hook in there that could have said it was nearly as bad as like Megapolis or Ant-Man, but in reality it's a subpar kids movie with some stupid CGI, and that disappointed me, but some people go in with a different, some people came in saying this is just gonna be freaking Call of Duty, and then they watch it and they're like, well, there was guns and shooting in a movie called fucking Warfare. Like, I don't know what you were expecting walking into this movie.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not make it war propaganda if there's a movie about, like, war fucking sucks? And then, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
The thing is...
This movie is even more objective than
like
fucking Civil War. There's literally no opinion on it. It's just, this is a thing that happened.
It's very frank. Everybody... The only characterizations in this movie are, you got some guys, and... They don't say much because they're working in war and writing shit on their little notepads, and they're not really confident, not really not. They're just kind of sitting there. There's like very minor character traits of like, some of them are goofy, some of them are slightly more talkative. But the movie isn't really about fleshing out these, 8 or 9 people that are in this house. And then the real character traits are like, the people who are injured, how do they react to that? The people who
by screaming
were kind of sitting in a corner and nothing happened to them, but they witnessed all of it, how are they holding up? Then you got like Will Porter, who had a bomb go off next to him and got really shaken by it, and his calm demeanor sort of cracked, and all of a sudden he was pretty much frozen and unable to do his job anymore. Like, that's kind of... that's the characterization in the movie, rather than we're not gonna like have a flashback to Will Porter's childhood where he's like, ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to kill the Taliban, and then it's like him and his dad shooting hunting rifles. Like, that wasn't really...
No,
that wasn't the movie that we were watching. It's very procedural. It's like, Alex Garland wanted to accurately portray modern war, that it's really just kind of boring, and then eventually something kind of happens, and that usually sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've never been to war. I don't know if it's accurate, but I thought it was.
Seems pretty.
It looks
seemed-
accurate.
It felt too boring not to be accurate, and then it felt really, yeah,
Awful.
And people keep fucking up too. Like everyone makes mistakes. Nobody does anything perfectly. Like the guy with the LMG, he's the new guy, and he's like forgetting to cover everyone and like kind of hiding like a new guy would. Because I mean, I'm imagining
Or just
myself.
anybody. Yeah.
If you just imagine yourself in a firefight, do you honestly think you're lasting that long? Like me, I'm like, no, I'm getting shot first 10 seconds.
Also, another reason I would like to think it wasn't propaganda is because like there's one guy that's like kind of a communications and he's acting as a pseudo medic because I believe the medic
Medic is one
Sniper
of the two that
guy.
gets
He's the one
used.
who was unconscious for like
he was the
10
one.
minutes.
Yeah,
That was good. I thought he was dead.
I thought he was too.
Yeah,
I
they
think, well, the movie kind of thought he was dead, but there's like this sniper medic guy, and then he gets blown up. So then there's this other guy,
No,
and he's the comms dude, and then he keeps having to call for a show of force, which is basically like a flyby from an F-16 to distract people.
like 20 feet from the street. Just
Yeah, which I mean, if I was flying an airplane that close to the street, I would literally just be fucking shit. Would be I don't know if they put you on like an anus catheter, but the shit would be getting sucked out my ass.
if I was Taliban and I look up and there's an F-16 right there, I'm leaving. I'm like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, it was a distraction, but it was also like shaking the
Picking up
comms guy. Like people were, it wasn't just, and even people were reacting to the fire of their own people just because it was loud and overwhelming. And even if it isn't a direct danger to you, there's definitely something fucking terrifying about it. So
Who was the guy who got blown in half? Was that one of the translators?
yeah,
Okay.
well, I think
That was
both
the-
of the translators died because
No.
there was also
The other guy got up and he ran. He left.
he bailed.
Yeah, it was the one with the hands and he like stumbles up.
The skinny Iraqi guy is the one who got blown up.
No,
Okay.
the skinny
Yeah.
one ran. Was the fat one?
No, the skinny guy was the one that got ripped in half. It was the
Okay.
bigger guy that must have ran. I missed
Okay.
that part though.
It was a great scene. Like I didn't even think of like an IED or something going off and killing everybody. I'm
And
like,
then-
okay, where's this going? And then
Yeah, it's disorienting and weird
and it
loud
lingers. It lingers for like 20 minutes on that fucking explosion where people are recovering and they're like, what the fuck is going on? Not a single shot is fired once they get back in the house. Like they retreat and they're like, what was that?
I thought that sequence was interesting because it was like after that bomb went off and kind of the quiet because like the Taliban weren't really shooting in there. They couldn't see anything and part of the reason I think like the Taliban weren't just unloading is because obviously they were a fringe army. They had to some level preserve ammunition. So after the explosion, there's kind of a serene couple moments where Will Porter's character and the other dude are standing there and they're like fuck, and then they find the injured people and pull them off. But you kind of had this almost serenity in the silence of the couple moments that an IED going up, blowing a bunch of limbs off and killing somebody somehow afforded these soldiers, which was kind of interesting.
Another thing is they don't show the damage immediately. Like the guy blown in half is the only thing they show immediately, but the second guy whose legs got twisted the fuck up, the first guy dragged in, they don't show his legs for like a long time. And the second guy, he's just unconscious. His legs are mangled. And the guy's doing like medic shit. He's tying tourniquets up his thigh and he's like, "You're gonna be alright, man." And I'm like, that guy's dead, right? And he goes, and I'm like, oh fuck, he's alive.
Yeah.
It's great. That whole scene, the explosion, I loved it.
Yeah. No, it was the whole movie was disorienting. They didn't try to. I think they did a good job trying to not make things clear to the audience until it was clear to the soldiers, which is part of the reason why like we don't see immediately that these dudes who, well, the dude who was still conscious even after his leg got fucked up in the IED, like we don't see it until he kind of realizes. Then it pans down because
Yes.
he's in shock, so he doesn't immediately realize that his leg looks like it got ran over by a bus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably look better if it was a bus.
And
Maybe a
there's,
train.
there's not a lot of exterior shots until they're outside as well. So you really are in their shoes the whole movie, and it's great.
Yeah.
And it does not linger on like insurgents getting shot or the people getting shot at.
Also,
it's just not like they drop and then it's gone.
It's so dark in the house, and then it pans wider, and you'll see other parts of the street, and it's just like peaceful and looks like a normal street, and then it, sort of pan. Like I think when that second squad was moving in on the ones that were under the siege or whatever, there was a lot of shots of them just kind of like there were people shooting at them from down the street pretty far, but like it looked pretty. Comparatively to the dark, bloody rubble that the other team was found in, it was pretty serene, which was interesting. I thought it was well done.
Very well done. So, Aiden, would you recommend Warfare by, what's the director's name?
Alex Garland.
Garland.
Alex Garland.
Yeah, big yes. Yep. Connor, would you recommend Warfare?
Yeah, I mean it's a very it's a movie that is an experience, an unpleasant experience, which I think he was trying to sell.
I wish we could have seen this with the.
I feel like if I was like an Iraq War veteran, I feel like this might potentially touch a sour spot.
Yeah, probably.
Or if I saw that it was warfare on the front and was not. And wanted like a Call of Duty Rambo style, like guys jumping over buildings shooting a million Muslims until it was plot convenient for one of the guys to die, or like Saving Private Ryan or something. I mean, it's very different than something like that. Even the more it's modern warfare. It's very calculated, and it's not fun. It's not a fold laundry on a Sunday, but if you're in for a really intense 90 minutes and want to be like, shit, that looks like it sucks, and you're fine with some gore and very intense shit happening for 90 minutes, then I say go for it. It is kind of viewer's discretion advised, because I feel like some people would probably just hate it based on the fact that it's very, very intense.
Right.
And not in like a fun horror movie way, or even like like a breakneck super action movie type of way. It's just like really trying to emulate how shitty the situation was, and it's a really good experience, but it's really it's a tougher watch.
Oh yeah.
So Grant, would you recommend Warfare?
Oh yeah. It's amazing. I'd say top 10 movies of all time for me that I've seen. Just how intense it is, and it never got boring or dull. I recommend it 100%. It's great. Little over.
I called this a sphincter clencher. I put this in my top 10 sphincter clenchers of the year.
3 out of 3 sphincters clenched.
Along with The Surfer starring Nicolas Cage. Those are the 2 sphincter clenchers I've said this year.
Wow. Now it's time to talk about the M. Spiff experience.
Yep.